Hello, everyone. I hope that you are doing well. My name is Claire Fowler, and I am here to talk about AI. And I apologize, there's a window right behind me, but I live in Oregon and we haven't seen the sun in months. So I kind of just needed to soak up the sun for just a moment. Um, but I'm very excited. I hope that you are having a lovely conference. Wish that I could be there with you. And I'm excited to get to tell you a little bit about mediation and AI. So here we are. Me, myself, and AI. This is me. I'm Claire Fowler. This is what I'm going to be talking about. I'll go through the background really quickly, purpose, boundaries, marketing. I want to share some tools. I'm not really going to spend time in scheduling and billing. I'll cover those very briefly. But if you're interested in those, please reach out. I have some additional slides and resources on that as well. So about us, I'm sure you're familiar with Colin Rule, CEO over here at ODR.com, and he's another amazing resource. So if you haven't had a chance to meet with him, I would definitely connect if you have questions on this. And of course, you are also always welcome to reach out to me as well. You can see my email address is right there underneath my picture. All right, so I want to begin a little bit by thinking about ODR. So all of us are doing some type of online dispute resolution. I mean, you're watching this video and I am recording it online, right? That is one example of being able to use online tools. And I just wanted to remind us that even just a few years ago, most mediators said, I would never use ODR. I love face-to-face. That is the purpose, that is the heart and soul of mediation. And now we're all using ODR. So let's just learn from that example a little bit as we are thinking about AI and realize that, we can just see it as a tool. Some of the things that we have learned with online dispute resolution is that being asynchronous can actually be pretty helpful, giving people that time and space to think through things, that it can save people time and money. Okay, so we've definitely learned some good things from being able to mediate online. So now, where are we when it comes to AI? I'm going to go through this background really quickly, but I kind of think it's helpful to realize this isn't just a flash in the pan. This idea has been around for quite a while, and a lot of people have spent the last, let's say, 3/4 of a century gearing up to where we are today. So we are benefiting from the vision that people have had for quite a long time. The word robot was originally used in a Czech play over 100 years ago. And I wanted to mention this because I think it's such a helpful filter as we are deciding how we should use AI. Simply, is this going to help your work, right? It's supposed to be a labor assistant. If it's not helping your work, then don't use it, right? There's lots of great gadgets out there that are just going to waste your time, or they could potentially expose your client's data. So if it's something that's going to help you, great. If it's not going to help you, don't feel guilty for not using it. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, I need to, I should spend more time there. No, you don't, right? This is something that's supposed to be a benefit for you. So phase one, then we're going to bump up to the 1950s. It's important to note the famous Turing test. The idea with the Turing test is that AI will truly be helpful to us when we can't tell if the respondent is human or if it's a robot. And we're definitely at that place now, right? I don't know about you, but I'm a law school professor, and it's really hard sometimes. I have to put in little keywords to determine if my students are using ChatGPT or if they're writing it themselves. It's kind of impossible to tell unless you're asking pretty specific questions. So then we enter phase two, right? This is 60s and 70s. And at this time, people were really excited, right? They're starting to discover the use of computers. And so now they're thinking, oh, there's a lot of potential here in AI. I think this one's kind of funny. In 1965, this guy, Joseph Weizenbaum, he created what was called ELIZA. ELIZA is famous because it's one of the first AI programs that had a real conversation with humans in English. What's so cool about this was that it was very, very so slowly, like in, it would feel like a glacier pace now that we're used to things moving so quickly. But it was able to very slowly understand the language that people would type in and adapt, and it would learn from that language. So this was a pretty revolutionary concept, right? Before it was a computer program was just one to one, and now it's one to many because I put in this input and it's learning and it's growing. So he called it Eliza. Can anybody guess why? It is based off of My Fair Lady or Pygmalion. Eliza Doolittle improved her lot in life because she learned how to communicate more effectively. And that's what he wanted this program to be able to do. Okay. Really random side trivia. Uh, the Marvel movies wanted to give some kind of a nod to Eliza and talk about how far the technology has come, but how it was originally based on this Eliza program. And they were specifically looking at the Iron Man software, Jarvis, and how Jarvis is always able to think and predict and anticipate what Iron Man is going to want him to do. They couldn't come up with a good acronym that worked for Eliza, so they wanted to do something similar. So instead, they called his software Edith, because even this software lasted even after Iron Man passed away, and it stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. Random trivia nod, but I thought it was kind of funny. Okay, so where are we now? We're in phase 3, and a lot of people are getting disappointed, right? They're getting discouraged. They're like, we've spent 50 years now working on AI, and it's just not going well. We're not going to keep funding it. We're not seeing the potential. And with the technology available then, I don't blame them. Phase 4, everything picks up again. This is when AI won Jeopardy. And around 2015, Google was looking really heavily into having ChatGPT, right? But instead, Google passed on it. And so then ChatGPT became open source, which means that we can all now use it freely. Yes, there are some pro versions where you have to pay a subscription, and that's pretty true for most AI tools that we're seeing, right? You can do just about everything you need to do with a free version, but there might be some paid options. Okay, so that catches us up to now AI is fully, our lives are surrounded by AI. So the quick question I have for you is, why should you care? To answer that question, I have to tell you about my hero. My hero is this fantastic woman named Josephine Cochran. Josephine Cochran, she was a partier. She threw the best dinner parties. Everybody wanted to go. Like, you were somebody if you were invited to Josie's party. And you can tell, I mean, look at, right, the way she kind of glances coquettishly over her shoulder, right? This lady knew what was going on, but she had a big problem. At the end of every dinner party, the maids were chipping her plates, or they weren't clean enough. And she said, I'll do it myself. And so she tried, but it was taking too long. And some of the dishes were still dirty, and some of them were still getting chipped. So she had a problem because she had too much work on her plate. See what I did there? Too much work on her plate? Okay. So she had too much work. And the solution that she could think of was taking too long, or it just wasn't a good enough solution. There were mistakes. Okay. So she needed something that would satisfy this problem without taking up more time. So she needed to automate some of the processes. She's a smart cookie. So here's what she did. Our hero, Josie, she borrowed her maid's tape measure. She measured all of her plates and cups. And then, just for fun, she investigated steam engines, rotating cylinders, the degree of sanitation, how to keep the integrity of a plate, all of those fun things. Okay, so she wanted everyone to be able to use it, of course. Here's what happened, though. The patent office, they only wanted to make money from it, right? They didn't want to give this information away freely. So they said, we need you to be the face of it. We need you to go out there and represent it. And we need you to be backed by a big company. And of course, so that we can monetize this and have you go out and make lots of speeches on this, we need you to be male. And she said, Well, you're nuts. I'm not going to do that. So she fought for a few years and they finally granted her a patent in 1886. So her plan was, now that she has the patent, she wanted to mass produce this in a way where households could accept it. So what happened? Well, she went around to all of her friends and she said, I just invented this super cool thing. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money, right? No brainer. And they said, no. And why did they say no? Okay, I'm sorry, the reasons why they said no are just crazy. Um, but we can all relate to them. So they said, oh, I'd rather do it myself. Or, but this is my identity. Or my family expects my personal touch. Or I can just do it better. Or I don't understand it. Or I'll wait until someone else uses it. Once it's perfect, then I'll start using it. This one is my favorite. I'm sorry. What housewife has ever said this? What would I do with all of my free time? There just won't be anything for me to do. Come on, ladies. Never going to happen. Okay, so here's the problem, right? This great tool, which was originally designed to help the common family, wasn't picked up by the common family. Instead, organizations said, well, if you're not going to use it, we see the benefit. So they started guiding all of the development, right? All of the design, all the inventions started going towards large resorts, right? The hospitality industry, huge hotels, healthcare, large hospitals, things like that. Large banking institutions, huge universities, because they said, this is going to save us money. This is going to save us time. So for a few decades, the development of the dishwasher was huge. It was something that was eating up way too much power, way too much water, taking too much time for the average household to be able to afford. And it was only in the 1950s when the average US household started adopting it. And a lot of smaller economies, they still don't have a dishwasher in the home because, again, the development just hasn't caught up to what actually benefits them. Are you seeing where I'm starting to go with this? Okay. So it was accepted because younger working housekeepers started understanding the potential benefit. So that is exactly where we are right now with AI. We're standing on the cusp, okay? And I'm watching to see if younger working professionals are going to start to push for this, okay? I have seen a lot of resistance, and I just want to point out that when we're talking about AI, it's not either or, right? Remember what I was saying earlier about online dispute resolution. A lot of people said, oh, but I don't want to mediate online. That's not what I do. Yeah, but now we're all using online tools, right? You're listening to me share this presentation over Zoom, but that doesn't mean that you can't still meet face to face. And AI is the same way, right? This is simply a tool to add to what you are already doing. This is something that should be assisting what you're already doing. So I encourage bringing this into the safe space that you already have, right? And this can be a very flexible option. There are lots of AI tools out there, and you can find the one that fits best for your office. So what I'm hearing a lot of communities say now, or a lot of part-time mediation practitioners, they say, no, 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 I don't want to use AI because I'd rather contact my clients myself. Or it's my identity, or my clients expect my personal touch. This is the only way I can build rapport. Or I can do it better. What if the AI tool or the solution explorer just doesn't know what questions to ask? Or let's be honest, we've all said this, I don't understand it. I don't know how to use it. Or I'll wait until someone else uses it until it's perfect. Or I don't want to give up my personal process. I'm assuming none of you are saying this last one. What would I do with all of my free time? Come on, nobody says that. So here's my concern. We are starting to see a lot of these AI tools that were designed for us, right? That were designed for the working professionals. Instead, they're starting to get picked up by corporations again, right? Because corporations are understanding, oh my gosh, these tools are saving us time, they're saving us money, better results. And so I'm starting to see the design process move in a way that is benefiting large organizations. I'm going to be honest, it's making me kind of nervous. So what I really encourage all of you to do, oh, sorry, click too fast. What I encourage all of you to do is to get out there and try a couple of these. I'm about to share a couple suggestions with you for AI tools that I love that we have vetted here at ODR.com and we were really impressed by. So I encourage you to get out there and try it. Is it perfect? Nope, it's not. But will it be perfect? Is it going to protect your clients the way that you want it to if you don't try it and if you don't provide feedback? No, it's not. I think we are standing in front of the wave right now, and we can't stop it, right? This is just simply the next wave of technology. This is what's going to happen next. But we are still at a point where we can guide the flow a little bit, right? We can determine if this flow is going to be developed in a way that is going to protect your visitors, your clients, your parties, and so on. So I strongly encourage you, get out there and try these tools and provide lots of feedback. If there's something that you feel like is exposing personally identifiable information for your clients, then please provide that feedback, because we want to make sure that these AI tools that we're using, that they are respectful, right? That they are developing the rapport that we want. Okay, so I'm going to hop back to talking about some of the different AI tools out there. The biggest one, ChatGPT. I'm assuming that many of you have tried it, even if you're not using it all the time. If you haven't tried it, just ask your kids how to use it. I'm pretty sure they are. Or or go to a student and ask them how to use ChatGPT. The thing that makes it work so nicely is that we can ask it questions in real time and using real language. So we can ask it things like, oh, hey, what was the name of that one movie? And there was the green horse, and then there was something about this guy and he got lost in Bahamas. What was the name of that movie? And actually, what was the star's name who played in it? 5 years ago, there was no way we could have gotten the results that we wanted with a question like that. It's simply that ChatGPT has a very large model, that the language model is continuing to grow, and it's also adapting the more that you work with it. It's starting to anticipate how you will ask your questions, which is pretty cool. So far, I would say yes. This passes the robot test. Remember, the robot definition is, does this support you in the workplace? And I'm going to give it yes. That's a thumbs up. I would say this does support me in the workplace. Okay. What are our concerns? What are the boundaries here? So I have to tell you about this. This is embarrassing. About 20 years ago, 25, whenever I was an intern, I was working for this great company, Critical Data, and we would do focus groups for companies that had issues, that had concerns. And we would do feasibility studies to see if their ideas were going to play out well. Okay. And so I gathered all of the information. I got all the spreadsheets. I gathered the data from the focus groups and I printed them out, and I got these great red binders and I boxed them up and I put a cover on them and I sent them over to the client meeting. And my boss, super sweet guy, he flew over, and then in front of the clients, he pulled out all the boxes, grabbed his X-Acto knife, opened them up, and right there on the cover is this huge typo. Because this was way back when you didn't get the red the squiggly underline, right? In Microsoft Word that told you if a word was being misspelled. Nope. Now they just let you go with it. Back then, they're like, sure, she knows what she's doing. Let's have her print feasibility study. So that's how we have to think of AI. It is a great intern, right? Great for assembling, automating, summarizing, and suggesting ideas, but it doesn't replace you, right? There's nothing like your eyeballs. So I would use an intern for the grunt work, for the data entry work, for the stuff that you don't want to do, but then make sure that your eyeballs are on it before you actually share this information with your clients, okay? All right, so what are some of the things that we want AI to do? Well, let's take a look. Even though people are very concerned that, that our clients don't want to deal with AI if it's something personal or if it's emotional, what we're actually seeing is a huge culture shift, right? We have this generation that is comfortable. Let's say they are way too comfortable at sharing very personal information in an online space. So 5, 10 years ago, would this have worked? No. Even if the technology was there, the culture wasn't there. Okay. Our culture is now comfortable sharing things on Snapchat, sharing things in a digital space, sharing things with a computer, and then trusting that the computer is going to give it back a personalized set of information. Okay. So, yes, we still have that concern that our clients aren't going to want to deal with a robot. But I'm going to be honest, most of your clients do not share that same concern. Or if they do, they know how to get past AI pretty quickly and get in touch with you. A lot of clients are actually preferring the anonymity, they're preferring to have that asynchronous conversation where they just say, okay, I have this issue. I'm not quite ready to talk about it, but I know I've got to do something. It's 3 a.m. I'm going to go on to Claire's website. There's an AI chatbot. I can ask it some questions, and then I can get this process started. I'm not ready to talk to anybody quite yet, but I need to know that we're making progress. And a lot of our clients are there, right? They're expecting to come to your website and see some kind of a chatbot or at least a smart intake form that will respond to some of those questions while you're sleeping. I've gone over quite a few terms. Let me share the definition of these. So Gen AI, this chat GPT would be a great example where I ask it for something and then it will create text. This could be write a 5-page essay on Moby Dick, or it could be create 20 LinkedIn posts about my new book, something like that. Again, it's an intern. They're not all going to be great. Most of them won't be great, but it'll give you some ideas, especially at the end of the day when your brain's just tired. Okay. Large language model and NLPs, natural language processing. What that means is there's a lot of words to choose from, and I can speak naturally to this, and it's going to understand what I'm saying. This one is pretty important, this PII. This is what we think about a lot with our ombuds clients. We want to make sure that if I am inputting PII, personally identifiable information, what is that? It's the stuff where somebody could use it to steal your identity, right? First and last name, address, phone, email, things like that. I want to make sure that if I have to put that information into an AI, that I know exactly what is happening with it and that it's not being shared somewhere else. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share a couple of different ideas with you that we're seeing in AI. And again, don't try to tackle everything, but see if you can find a couple ideas here that sound interesting to you. So first, we have this one called there's a founder group and they create sentiment analysis. And the idea here is that it can listen in on a conversation and it can tell you as a mediator if somebody's starting to get escalated, if somebody's engaged, if their anxiety has gone up, if they're feeling creative, if it's time to move into the agreement, or if we need to take a break and move into breakout rooms or a caucus session. So is it a little scary? Yeah. Is it happening? Yeah, it is. It is. And we know that there are quite a few groups that are already using it. There's a lot of governmental groups that are using it. And we're also seeing, the scammers, right? The people who are like, oh no, Mrs. Smith, I just noticed that your password was compromised. Just tell me a new password over the phone here, and I promise I'll fix it for you. And so a lot of kind of shady scamming groups are already using this technology because then they can listen if somebody trusts them or not, if they can push farther. Anyway, summarization tools. This is really helpful. If your client is sending you large documents and you just want a quick summary of it, what are the key things here? What are the trends? What are the concerns? And also, what is the sentiment? Are they worried about next steps? Do they see hope here? Do we think that we are going to negotiate, some of those good questions? Outcome prediction. So this is another one that can be very interesting. Are we seeing, oh, sorry about that. As I'm telling the AI what's going on, are they able to tell me what's going to happen here? So for instance, if I were to put in, these are the terms of the agreement. Oh, plus. Much better. If I were to put in the terms of the case, then this outcome predictor can tell me what a possible outcome would be, what that agreement might look like. Let's give you a specific example. Let's say that we have two spouses that are in the military and they're trying to arrange joint custody of their kids, knowing that they might both be deployed. Then I can ask AI, what is a likely outcome here? What are some possible agreements that other people in this situation have come up with? And it helps parties to set expectations, but it also helps mediators to generate some ideas. Okay. All right. I mentioned chatbots earlier. So some cool ways that we can see this is just having a chatbot sitting there at the bottom of your website. Then let's say you have parents that are trying to figure out what a likely outcome is, then they can put in the terms and they come up with a solution explorer. You can also use this for scheduling, for prepping documents, for coming up with time percentage proposals, which is pretty cool. How do we use this as mediators? Again, scheduling. We can have it send out reminders. We can have it analyze data for us. So lots of cool chatbots here. And I know that we're just starting to think about how we can use this in mediation. I encourage you to continue to think about it so that you're not left behind. In 2022, there was 31% growth. They're still figuring out the numbers. I'm expecting that's going to double, if not triple, for 2023. So this is a tool that it's just exploding, right? This is a really useful tool that I'm anticipating everyone will probably start using it in some way or another. Okay, but please don't feel like you have to try to use everything. Look at this, 30 to 50 new programs are released every day. So I know some people that are like, oh, I just don't feel like I can understand everything, or I don't want to try to use AI until I've tried all of the different schedulers and I know that I'm using the best one. Well, good luck. I'm sorry, but I don't know anybody who can test out 50 new programs every single day to figure out what the best one is. No. Plus, a lot of them are phishing, right? They're just out there trying to get your information, or they're scammy. And I don't trust what they're going to do with your information. And so Colin and I have tested quite a few different AI tools, and here are some that I recommend. Claude does an amazing job. If you put a lengthy text in, it can give you key categories. This can summarize 3 times as much information as ChatGPT. So if you have like a long deposition, I would recommend using Claude instead. It's going to be a little better. Motionize. What I love about Motionize is that this is a tool that you download. So instead of me having to put my clients that personally identifiable information, instead of me having to put that in the cloud, I can keep that right here on my computer, and I can use it with Microsoft Word, for instance. And then Motionize will look over my agreement and it can make suggestions. It can say things like, oh, for this jurisdiction, you might want to consider this, or for this type of an agreement, this is a typical outcome. And it's kind of like having a partner in your office, right? To help you to just give a second eye on some things. Mayday, this is a free tool and it's really helpful for calendaring. Flow Savvy, Trevor AI, that's another nice one that I've been using for scheduling tasks. Clare, what I love about this obviously is the name, but also that you can sync it up with your email and then it can grab important information. So for instance, if Colin sends me an email and says, oh, hey, can we talk about the AI project next Monday at 9? Then Clara can grab that and throw it in my calendar and just say, hey, talk to Colin next Monday at 9, or get this finished by this time, or remember to call this person. So I think that that's a really nice tool. Yeah. And if you have any questions on an AI tool that you're looking at, I would just recommend reaching out, right? We're here, ODR.com, but there's also lots of other groups out there that would be happy to discuss this with you and see if it's an AI tool that's trustworthy. Final thing I'd like you to do is to look at the tools that you're already using and think about the AI integrations there. So as an example, Zoom has some pretty cool AI integrations. It can summarize your meeting. It can read facial expressions. It can give you a quick summary. If somebody just asked you a question and you weren't listening, it can provide a summary for you. So lots of neat AI tools there. Canva has a great AI tool. So Canva, right, that's what I use to put this presentation together. And now there's a little AI tool. And I can just say, Canva, can you prepare a 20-slide presentation on AI? And it will. So if you need to put together a presentation, maybe you're short on time, maybe you're out of ideas, or you just want some suggestions, or if you know what you're going to say, but you want somebody else to do all of the spacing and sizing and font and coloring and all that stuff for you, let AI do that, because then you are saving your brain power for the good stuff, right? For what you are meant to do, instead of some of the boring data entry stuff that can just suck up way too much of your time and energy. And then it prevents you from doing all the beautiful dispute resolution peacemaker stuff that the world needs from you. A couple of other examples: QuickBooks, lots of tax, lots of accounting information, scheduling. All of these have really great AI tools added to them. So this is my little bit of homework for you. I'm going to encourage you to, first off, try out a new AI tool and provide feedback on it. This is what people are going to be using. And I really, selfishly, I want that feedback to be coming from you and not from a big corporation that I don't trust, because I think they're probably just trying to make money off of it. Your second bit of homework: take a moment and look at the tools that you're already using. Google, Outlook, Canva, Prezi, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, all of those have really neat AI integrations. So try some of those out and just see, right? It's probably going to save you time. And obviously it's a tool that you already trust. So me, myself, and AI, it is a wave that is coming. So let's figure it out. Let's guide the flow a little bit. And remember that the whole purpose of this is to assist you, right? Just like Josie Cochran and her dishwasher, this is something that is supposed to, it's supposed to make your life better, so that just like Josie was able to spend more time at her dinner parties with all of her buds, now you can spend more time bringing peace to the world. So thank you again for what you're doing. Thank you for listening. And I'm Claire. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.